Hello, everyone. Welcome to Winner Circle Sports Betting Network. Here we go. NFL talk here. Matt Fargo, Kevin Thomas. Listen, we're going to be talking some AFC East today. Before I get that, listen, you tuned in. Let's go. Thumb it up. Hit the like button there. Comment section. Who do you like here? What do you know? Are you a Bills fan, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, whatever? Put your thoughts in the chat. We're talking some football here. You got a win total. You got a player prop you like, whatever. Week one. This is AFC East talk right now. So again, comments. I want your comments because I want to see what everybody thinks about the AFC East. Again, you want our best bets in the NFL or college football or any sport for that matter. Head to gamblersworld.net. But let's just jump right into this, Phil. And we got week one lines, and I love week one lines. We're talking about fast, and I will be all over the place. I want to start with week one lines, and then we'll get to if anybody likes a win, a specific team, whatever. But the lines are out, and these come out in, I guess, May, right when they release the schedule, fellas. So sometimes there's a movement beforehand. I got one game I love. One game I've already bet. I will jump into that one right now. Pittsburgh laying 3 to the Jets. I am all over the Jets here. This team, and we'll get to them in a second. Jets are +3. Miami 1.5 point favorite over the Colts. Raiders +3 in New England. I'm not talking about the totals because who knows? It could be a rainstorm or a blizzard. Let's just keep with the lines here. And I guess the marquee game, you'd call it that. Ravens Bills on a Sunday night to open things up there, 1.5. Kevin, anything in week one would you be looking at? I know it's early. We're not near week one, but would you bet a week one on any of those spreads as we do this video?
I would definitely look at the Patriots with the 3 points there against the Raiders. New coach, right? Vrabel, we know what he brings to the ticket. He's bringing in a big offensive line. They're going to pound the ball, run it. Raiders defense wasn't the best last year, that's for sure, especially against stopping the run or anything else. Raiders are going to be the team that I think finished last. Patriots, I have them finishing second in the AFC East as of right now. I know a lot of people think, the Dolphins, but I think the Patriots, bulking up the offensive line, bringing in all these coaches, 3 of them ex-head coaches, and McDaniel's back calling the offense. I know the running backs aren't big. I know Trayvon, the one they drafted out of Ohio State, he's only 5'10", I think, 202. It's not Derrick Henry. But I think what they're doing, and with Stephon Diggs to stretch the field, I think the Raiders are going to be in trouble here. I think this could be a blowout with the Patriots here, week one.
Raiders bringing a new coach too, Matt, and he just happens to be a 90-year-old man. So I don't know. Listen, no offense to Pete Carroll, but I mean, like, what are you doing, Pete? Shouldn't you just be like relaxing at 72? Like, what? You're like Belichick. What are you doing? And you're going to the Raiders? That's where you want to go? To the Raiders? I guess he likes Vegas. It's Vegas, baby, right? But I don't know. Anything week one, you agree on the Patriots? A lot of love on the Patriots. We'll get to that in a second over these win totals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the Patriots pretty extensively today. I agree with Kevin 100% with this game. New England, I think they're everybody's kind of darling this year. They have the highest win total jump of any team as far as the odds go. But -3 over Vegas. I think Vegas is going to be trash this year. New England, as Kevin said, upgraded the offensive line, and even Drake May came on strong towards the end of last year. They upgraded the receivers, with Diggs. I'm not a huge fan of Diggs, locker room wise, but maybe getting injured will calm him down a little bit, and get him more vested in his team and his teammates. They signed Matt Collins, and they drafted who I think is going to be awesome, Ryan Williams from Alabama. That guy's can all out fly. So they upgraded the offense for sure. I think it's as Kev said, I think this could turn into an absolute blowout. And I guess another game, if we're talking just the AFC East with lines right now, Buffalo -1.5 against Baltimore. The narrative is, Buffalo's opening their brand new stadium, so it's going to be, big marquee night, Sunday night. I like this Buffalo team this year. I like them every year. They're going to be solid once again. We'll talk more about them in a little bit, but I think a short price at home Sunday night. I like that line. And one of the game you brought up earlier, Pittsburgh, I do agree with that. I don't know if Pittsburgh is going to be any good this year. I say we fade them early, and I think it's a good spot to fade them. Nobody's going to be on the Jets. The Jets are garbage to everybody this year, and this is a game where they're getting 3 points at home, which I actually like.
Aaron Rodgers, the old guy. I mean, it's just the Jets will be. Let's be honest. Anybody who played with that guy is going to be a little extra motivated, probably because of his whole act. So you give me 3 points with a home dog there. I agree with. Although you brought up the Ravens game. I want to take the Ravens. I got my little Survivor for 2025 hat. I was out there a week ago. I want to take the Ravens as a Survivor pick. I'll probably be the only cat on that game if I do that. But yeah, I like the Ravens over the Bills. Everybody will over the Bills, I think. Speaking of which, we have odds to win a division. Let's be honest. It's if you're not taking the Bills at minus 280, and I don't like laying 140 in baseball. Forget laying 280 spots. Let's be honest here. Who would you really put $100 or a bet on the Patriots to win here? I mean, it's the Bills to lose, right? Let's just be honest here, fellas. We all like kind of underdogs and going, we're gonna, maybe somebody will take the Chargers in over the Chiefs or something, or Cincy. You could make a play for somewhere else. Let's be honest. The Bills are winning this. Let's just move on to the win totals here, and we'll start with the big boys here. Buffalo is a 11.5 win total. Makes sense because they're favored in every single game, gentlemen. Lightest lines, you got the 1.5 versus the Bills. You have a 2.5 versus Kansas City. Any 1.5 versus our guy Tim's Philadelphia Eagles. Everything else, they're sizable spreads. 180. It is juicy, but that's what you get here. The Patriots 7.5. Again, Matt brought up, or Kevin, I should say, all the new changes there. Again, a minus, a lot of juice on these totals. 7.5 though. They're favored in 11 games as the schedule is released here, and you have 5 games where they're in a minus 2 to 2.5 range, and another 5 though, which I found interesting. Again, second-year quarterback, new coach. There's 5 where they're flat out 3-point or 3.5-point favorites, mostly at home, obviously. But when I look at a team like the Jets, I'm going to bypass Miami just based on the what I just said here about the point spreads. The Jets are underdogs in 15 games this year. They have 7 games. Look at these: minus 1.5, minus 2.5, minus 1.5, plus 1.5, plus 1.5, plus 1.5, plus 1.5, plus 1.5. They could. This is a weird team to me. And I'm going to start from the back to forward with everybody. We'll start with Matt here with the Jets. They have those 7 games at basically 1.5, 2. I mean, most of them are 1.5s. Can you see this team actually winning a couple of these? Because you're at the Saints with a rookie QB. Miami at home, New England at home, Atlanta. Dallas, a 1.5-point dog to Dallas, which who knows? Everybody loves Dak, comeback player of the year, whatever. Carolina. This team could maybe win 3 games, right? You're an underdog of 15. Or you catch these, and this is a 10-win squad all of a sudden. What do you think, Matt, about this Jet under 15 games as an underdog?
Yeah, I wouldn't go as high as 10 wins for this team.
But you know what I'm saying?
No, I know.
Sure.
Yeah, if you catch 6 coin flip games and you win 4 of those, and you win the games you're supposed to win, yeah, there's 7-8 wins right there for sure. The schedule sets up all right for them. They have some tough road games. They're at Tampa, at Cincy, obviously at Buffalo, at Baltimore. So the road is going to be a little tough. If they can hold their own at home, you know, you have the Patriots. Let me start from the beginning, I guess. Pittsburgh obviously, then Buff, Dallas, who you don't know what's going to happen with them this year. Denver will be a tough one. Then they have Carolina, Atlanta, Miami, New England. Those last 4 home games, they're all winnable. So I can see some value with the over in the Jets. I just don't know if I would touch them because it could go south very quickly.
I mean, the end of the year game against Miami, you could have Quinn Ewers in there. It could be Zach Wilson. Who knows with Miami? And we'll get to Miami in a second there. But Kev, like Matt was saying there, you go coin flip games, you catch a couple. We saw the Vikings win every kind of close game possible one year and go 14-2, whatever the heck they did, or not last year, but the year before that. You get lucky. It happens. It's just a weird. I mean, maybe that one just stuck out to me because it was the first conference we're doing, and I'm going through the lines. I'm like, holy cow! You got all these games at that short spread. What do you think about the JETS Jets? And listen, throw out your Philly bias down there, and we know automatically you're against the Jersey teams, and they are the Jersey Jets and Jersey Giants. But what do you think?
Not our opinion. but honestly, the Jets, you got some games at home in the cold against dome teams, against Miami, right? So that plays into a factor. And this Jets team, I don't know why people are so down on them. They had a great defense. I mean, they beat the Eagles, right? And at home, no one expected that. Aaron Rodgers was horrible. He was a cancer for the team. They got rid of him. Now they got a running back they got a running back quarterback, plus they got 2 stud running backs. They can keep games close, play the small field, play the field goals. I think the Jets can cover a lot of these games. Winning whatever it's set at, I think they could go over, but I think they cover a lot more than people are going to give them credit for. But I think this defense, it's going to be nasty as it always is, especially with a lot of those guys getting healthy. That team just gave up last year when they fired their coach and everything. So I think the new system and everything coming in there, I think it's gonna waking these guys up, and getting rid of Aaron Rodgers is always a plus.
I agree. Listen, Sean Higgs, Kevin Thomas, Matt Fargo talking AFC East talk here. Win totals, scheduling spots, or not really spots, but just on the lines for the season. Be sure to head over to gamblersworld.net for all of our best bets in NFL action. Listen, Justin Fields, the guy gets a bum rap, right? I mean, the Bears are ready to run the cat out of town. I don't know. You kept the coach. You see how crappy their new quarterback did with Caleb Williams over there. He goes to Pittsburgh, and again, the Steelers somehow win 8 or 9 games every year. The offense is, I don't even understand. I mean, is it Tomlin a great coach? Do they not? The Steelers are just an enigma. We'll get to them in another show, but I like Justin Fields. I think given a shot, the guy, yeah, you have to give him some time, right? I mean, we saw in Chicago, it was just a terribly coordinator. They were bad. They left, or he left, and they were still bad. He wasn't the problem. 5.5. Again, you go 3-3 in these 1.5s. You got that 5. You're there. You could be there in October. And I'm not even a Jet Homer kind of guy. Listen, I like the Jets when Parcells was coaching the Cowboys. I couldn't cheer for him. Other than that, it's not like I'm some kind of Jet Giant kind of Homer guy on the Jersey, New York teams here. Next up, the Dolphins. I've seen people say to bet Quinn Ewers to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, when I saw Tua take that hit a couple years ago, and he's all crazy on the ground, I'm like, this guy, I could never bet Miami. He is a hit away from just being crippled. He got his crazy helmet on. He's learned to avoid kind of hits. I don't know about this team. I mean, I really don't. They are underdogs in 10 games. You have Tyreek Hill, who everybody loves. Can somebody give me some inside Miami here? Kev, what do you think about the Dolphins? I have zero thought on the Dolphins this year. I can't. It's a team I can't bet because I'm worried about the quarterback. literally being crippled and just losing his mind on any time he gets hit. It's that team I want to bet.
Their defense always kind of shocks me, and now you're going to get Nick Chubb, who should be back for this. I know he's still questionable, but he should be back. But for Tua, I'm looking at his receiving yards over 3,450. That's only like 202 a game. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to pass the game. They don't tend to run the ball, especially without Mostert and that. They don't have a real downhill runner anymore. They go with A-Chain, and he's more of a pass catcher out of the thing. So I think they're going to eat up a lot of yards. And I was also looking at Jalen Waddle, over 3.5 touchdowns. He was horrible last year, but you can get him at over 3.5 minus 110. I think they're going to have to rely on the pass a lot. Tyreek Hill, he takes the top off. Jalen Waddle gets all that stuff underneath. I could see them finishing, maybe at like 9-8. But I think Tua, if he stays healthy, that's the big thing. That's why you sprinkle a little bit on that. I think he can go over the yards. I mean, in fantasy, if you had Tua on the team, I mean, the guy was putting up 400 or 500 yards, but then he sits 3 or 4 games. That's the problem. That's why this number is so low. So I'm betting on that offensive line being a little healthy, and I'm betting on them playing from behind in a lot of games because I don't know how good they are at stopping the run because they're going to see a lot of the run with the Bills, the Patriots, and the Jets. I mean, they're in a run-first conference, in my opinion. They're the only team that will short pass their way and then try to hit the home runs. So,
well, I mean, you got Waddle and Hill, which is why everybody kind of people love the offense, right? Chuck it, chuck it, chuck it. But as you mentioned, the guy goes down for 3 games, and you're in trouble. But 200 yards a game, he can get that in 10 games. He could because he's going to have a big game here and there. You get a 87-yard burst from one of those guys, which is always possible. Hill doesn't look like he's really lost a step. They said he has. You see some of this footage of him. He looks pretty quick to me. Then again, I look like I'm dragging a piano behind me when I'm just walking normal. So, Matt, what do you think about the Dolphins?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up about Hill. I saw a clip of him recently, and he's just as fast as he's always been. Like just a burst of speed and the way he cuts. I like the prop bet that Kev gave out with Waddle. Yeah, he had a rough year last year, and 3.5. That seems pretty low. And but as far as the Dolphins as a team, I'm not touching anything on them. What's their totals 8.5? And like you said, Sean, Tua was one hit away from being done for the season. When he's on and when his team is healthy around him,
looks good.
He's one of the most accurate passers in football. So if he could play a full 17 games, then yeah, give me the over. But you don't know that, and this is the one quarterback in the NFL that, not even game to game, like series to series, you're never sure. So yeah, I'm staying away from the Dolphins altogether as far as totals, props, anything, because there's just so many variables that go into this team right now that we're not really too sure about, and things can happen down the road that could severely impact the bet. So yeah, I'm staying off them for sure.
Well, I'm gonna come right back to you here because we'll talk about the Patriots here. This is again new regime comes in, 7.5 on the win total. It's juiced. Favored early 11 games. As I mentioned, they got 5 games where they're in the plus 2.5 range, 2.5, and they have another 5 where they're the 3.5 point favorite spot. The odds makers, again, with the 7.5 juiced over, and with them favored by 3 as opposed to New York Jets style where they're all 1.5 kind of games. They're believers in May and Vrabel. You said you had a lot to say about the Pats. I like them week 1, 3 versus the Raiders. The Raiders are not a team. Who's quarterbacking for the Raiders, by the way? Who's that? Who's running that show there? Geno Smith? It's Seattle. I like listen, good for Geno Smith. The guy, didn't get a shot really with the Jets. He puts up numbers with Seattle. He gets a payday, goes with his old coach. But I don't know. I got the phone. Hello, everybody. Yes, we're talking New England Patriots today. Go ahead. Go with the Patriots stuff there, Matt.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty high on them. What juice do you see with the over 7.5? I saw it at DraftKings at minus 235, which seems
235
ridiculous to me.
now. Oof, we got
I
at
saw
the
that just
175.
last night.
Oh, so
But they have 8.5. They have 8.5 at minus 120. I don't know if they can get to nine wins, for sure. But I think they can. Look at their schedule. They have the fifth easiest schedule coming in. I just don't know if I want to touch the over under. What I do like with them is them to make the playoffs. I see 9, maybe 10 teams that are going to be contention this year for the playoffs, and I think they'll be one of them. With the schedule, with the upgrades they've made to make the playoffs, they're plus 115. So that's where I'm going to go with them. If I had to take, an over under for wins, I would definitely go over. I think Drake May is going to have a big year. I think he's got the receivers now. He's got the offensive line now, and I think it's going to be just a culture change with Vrabel. I think Vrabel was a great hire. I think he should have been hired, by other teams prior to last year. But it'll, like it always does, it'll come down to the final, couple weeks for this. But I think the Patriots are legit enough to make the playoffs, and I like the price at plus 115.
115. That's what. That also does that not seem a little low for a
It does seem low,
Patriots team, right? I
agree.
mean, one. Now, listen, it's juice 7.5, 8.5, where they need 9 wins, and then you said that was a minus 120 even. They got them listed here, favors in 11 games, so they think they got 11 wins in their pocket just to start the season. So, I don't know. What do you think about the Patriots, Kev?
I agree with Matt there. I do think they make the playoffs, and it's not because they're going to be that great of a team. I think it's just that a lot of the league, like every other year, is going to have a lot of bad teams, like the Saints, the Jets. So I think they're going to take advantage of good matchups and be nice and easy. I think the East is wide open after the Bills, and I'm going to ride with them. I like the Patriots. I like that bet a lot there. Especially with the way Vrabel, he's going to bring a defense that they lacked last year. I think they ranked 30th. So he's brought in for that. McDaniels is in to bring the offense, and I think they're going to get it. We're going to take the over in that, and then we're going to take them to make the playoffs as well.
Yeah, if you look at their home schedule, I mean, I'm going to say it's not really a joke, but Vegas, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Cleveland, Atlanta, the Jets, the Giants, Buffalo, and Miami. They can win all those games except for Buffalo.
You win 4
exactly.
Right there, yeah.
I mean, you got. I mean, obviously, I'm not high on Vegas. Carolina's, and I think they're improved. Carolina. Are they going to come in and win on the road? Could be a little tough. Atlanta might be rolling out for all intended purposes, a rookie quarterback at Penix. I mean, the Giants the same. Who knows who's going to be quarterbacking them when we get around to those games? And the 115 for the playoffs. You got the Bills. You got who? The Ravens, Kansas City, somebody out of the South. So you got 4, and then who? Cincinnati. You think the defense can't be as bad as it was, and they'd make the playoffs, right? They almost made the playoffs last year, giving up 40 points a game or whatever.
Right. And the other two are the Chargers and the Broncos. I think that's pretty much it. Pittsburgh, I don't think. Pittsburgh, no.
So
nobody else out of the South.
They might cancel each other out, right? I mean, Broncos, big surprise last year. I mean, the South, you're going to have a bunch of 9 and 8 teams or something, right? Maybe somebody wins 10 or 11. They'll win the division, but they'll be if you're scraping together 8, 9 wins, you're in the playoff hunt. Same with listen. I think the Chargers will be improved. I think Denver could build on last year, but are they winning 10, 11, 12 games? I don't know. I think the Patriots with that schedule could be right in the thick of it. Plus 115. Let's go, Patriots. I like it, man. I like it.
I do.
All right.
I do get a little nervous with quarterbacks in their second year, though. Like Nick's out there, but May also, because now the tape's out on him. Man, all I hear around here is how good Daniels is going to be from Washington, but the tape's out on him. He's undersized. I don't see him having as great a year as he did last year. Same thing with these guys. I just think the system that the Patriots bring with the run and defense, I think that'll be enough to. And the
To help.
receivers they got to stretch the field. And May's a big kid, and he'll run it too. I mean, he's a punisher. So yeah, that's why I think a lot of these quarterbacks are going to see a little bit of a letdown this
Absolutely.
year.
We saw Stroud struggle a little bit last year, even as good as he'd been, right? Two playoff spots for that kid. But you get film; they kind of know how you play a little bit.
Yep.
Now, in May's case, though, it'll be a little different this year, right? Because now he's got a whole new kind of playbook coming, so it might be a little different than like a Bo Nix situation. But I'm always for you got to put that little sophomore slump in your head a little bit, where the film's out, we kind of know what to expect now, right? So I agree with that point for sure. But also, if you're 500, you got a shot. You got a shot. The entire AFC South will be a 500 kind of club. And again, are the Chargers and Broncos going to really shoot up to 11 and 12 wins? I don't know. I mean, I got to see it first.
The AFC was so bad last year. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with 5 or less wins. I think it's going to be bad again. So I think the Chargers won 11 last year. Denver won 10. I don't know if they'll get to that. I haven't really looked at the schedule too much to look at how their win total could pan out, but I don't see both those teams winning double digits again. I see them in the playoff hunt, sure, but just the way the schedule sets up for the Patriots, I think they have a legit shot at making the postseason this year.
Well, listen, you win 4 games, you're going to get a weak schedule. You win 11 games, like the Chargers did, your schedule's going to switch a little bit. We're going to see how you do. The Broncos, the same thing. You go from 3 or 4 wins to 10. A little tougher teams come in onto the rotation. Again, we're talking AFC East wins. Who we think? Listen, the Bills are winning the division. I don't think we're going to really go out of our way and try to predict basically a Josh Allen injury, right? That's how this is not happening. So I think we all agree Bills to win the division. Wins were a little bit we got our thoughts on who's going to win. Let's talk about the Bills here because we've talked about the Jets, Miami, the Patriots. It's tough to get to the top dogs. What are we going to say? You got an MVP who, I don't know. I thought Lamar should have been the MVP. He's player of the month all the time. Regardless, that's neither here nor there. He got it done in the playoffs there, Josh Allen. Sent Lamar home. Favored in every game this year, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show. You're a small fave to Baltimore, Kansas City, and Philly, all at home. What say you, Kev? These guys, could they, would you – I like the over wins. I'd go alternate wins here. I'd go maybe like 14, right? I mean, I'd look for a plus money on the wins here because who are they losing to? I don't see them losing to anybody in division, even on the road. You got your 3 big games all home. Oh, it's something to prove. You got opening day. You got Kansas City who's beating you all the time, right? You eventually think it gets a payback on them. And then you got the Super Bowl champs coming in Philly. Like, I want to alt win this up with the Bills, get off that minus 180 and go 12. I'd probably go 14. You talk. I'm going to look up and see if I can find an alt number on this.
Well, the Bills are plus 700 to win the Super Bowl, so if you're really high on them, that's a nice payday right there. I'm looking at Josh Allen, though, the under 3,775.5 yards passing, minus 114. Look, it doesn't matter how good Josh Allen is. It's a run-first team. He's going to run it. They're going to run it. They got great running backs, especially the way Ray played last year coming in after Cooks. They're stacked there. They brought in Chenault. He's another a dink and dunk kind of guy. Shakir, we know how he plays, maybe 800 yards, but 440 catches. They're not built to go deep. I don't know if Keon Coleman's going to pay out like he did. They brought in Elijah Moore. Not sure what he has. So I'm looking at Josh Allen going under the passing yards. But if I bet this division at all, it's going to be the order. I'm going to take the Bills to win it. Patriots second, Dolphins third, Jets come in last, and that'll get you plus 230. That's the only way you're going to get the Dolphins or the Bills with any kind of plus money, unless you bet them on the Super Bowl. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Josh Allen under passing yards. I didn't really check in his rushing yards. I'm thinking they might want to try to limit his rushing a little more. He's not getting younger. I think he just had a kid, right, or got married or something. So all that plays an effect too with how hard these guys work out and keep those bodies in shape. So I'm going to take the under 3775.5.
So Kev's fading dad bods as an NFL quarterback.
Hey now.
That's why the Eagles won't. That's why the Eagles won't be in the Super Bowl.
Over 13.5 is plus 255. And again, 14.5 would be 5-1, which is, but again, 15 wins. Now you got zero room for error going on there, and playing everybody every single game through the end of the season. I don't like that one. 13.5 I can get behind because I can see 14 wins. We've seen that before. Plus 255 for me there on the Bills. Matt, what do you think? Josh Allen.
What was the number? 13.5 or 12.5?
12.5 is plus 125. Again, still, plus money. I mean,
that's doable. Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, the Bills, are playing supposedly a first place schedule this year, right? And it ends up being the fifth easiest schedule in the NFL. So they definitely caught up. They definitely caught a break. I mean, their four toughest games are all at home. You mentioned three of them: Philly, Baltimore, Kansas City, and the other one is Cincinnati. So their four toughest games are at home. I'm not going to say they're going to win all four, but if they were all four on the road, it's a totally different story. So I'm not sure if I'm going to touch, the juiced up number, but I do like the 12.5 alt number for sure. I don't know if I'd go 13.5. That might be
it is
pushed.
big.
Yeah. I mean, and with Josh Allen, knock on any sort of wood, he's been fortunate that he hasn't gotten a serious injury, except for his elbow a couple years ago. And like Kevin said, I think they're going to, not limit him, but, hopefully hold him back a little bit just to keep him healthy. But a couple things I do like. I like the Bills to win the AFC. I think the schedule sets up good enough to where they can get the number one seed. I think Kansas City is going to be – they're not going to go 15-2 again. I just don't see it happening. So the Bills to win the AFC plus 350, I think it's a good number. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on a Super Bowl matchup, which I saw. The Bills versus the 49ers, plus 4,500. Now, the 49ers would have – they were in a down year last year. Injuries crushed them. They have the let me check. They have the easy schedule in the NFL this year. In a very, I think, pretty weak division for the most part. A conference that is, I think, up for grabs. I think they bounce back. I think they could be, a little bit of a flyer. I say sprinkle something on the Bills 49ers Super Bowl at 45 plus 4,500. Yeah, I'm in for that.
A little off here in the AFC East, but I agree with the Niners, especially like a back to like a 11-12 kind of win kind of team, because everything that could have went wrong last year was wrong, and I was on the under for them for the year based on the scheduling, and then you had holdouts in August. You got contract nonsense. Yeah, that's a team. Definitely should be on people's radars this year, and we'll get to them down the road here, but. I am going to switch, though. I did say the 14. You're right here. I don't know. 14 wins is tough. The 13 and 3 last year for the Bills. I'm making an official show pick. I'm going to go. I'm going to drop down to the 12.5 range because at least I get the 13-4 record again. It's plus 125. I think that's probably safer. I like to shoot for the stars. That way I just. If I miss, at least I'm still in the clouds, I guess, right? But I don't know. You guys, speaking to you guys, though, it's right. That's a big, 14 wins is that's a really great season. 14-3 or whatever they got to do. 12, the 13-4 gets us a plus 125. So that'll be my pick there on the Bills. Again. We covered a few things here. We got props. I think we got them in the scroll to come up. Where are they, Jim? Scroll them up. All right. Well, there's my Billsies. Again, it's 12.5 now. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. It's 12.5. That being said, Kevin, he's going with Josh Allen under passing yards. Correct. Here we go. 37.75.5.
Yep.
You also had what was that, the Tua one or the Waddle one also? I don't know if that's in the chat, but
Yeah,
I'll give everybody a chance to repeat their stuff here.
Waddle over 3.5 receiving touchdowns.
Waddle 3.5 receiving touchdowns. That he could get 2 in a game, folks. Like what? Why is that so low?
I love that play.
Over.
Love it.
Tua over to 34.50.5.
2 over 34.50. Waddle, the 3.5 touchdowns is. I didn't even catch that when you were talking last time. I know Matt agreed with it. He's like, I like the 3.5, and I was thinking, oh, was he speaking? I thought maybe we're talking to a yardage, and he was just saying, 3,500 or whatever. 3.5 touchdowns for Waddle. What are we missing there on Waddle?
Him and Tua.
He's still playing, right?
He's coming off a bad year, and people look at that. It's the recency bias where they're like, oh, he must not be very good after all. Well, he's still pretty good.
I mean, I guess last year 2 touchdowns, but come on, that's the total disrespect. Total disrespect for the guy. He's 26 years old. He's 26. What is going on? 6-8-4 last year. A little down year, but that was oh my goodness. Play of your life, folks, on the Waddle over 2 3. Not just kidding. People being here. All right, you got Kevin Thomas plays. Matt, take it away with your picks here for the AFC East.
Yeah, I had the Patriots to make the playoffs plus 115, and the Bills to win the AFC plus 350. As far as totals go, I didn't make an official play on any of them. I just think because all 4 teams' schedules are so easy, I think they're juiced up a little bit. But I do agree with that. The Bills alternate one that you made 12.5 plus 135. Is that what you said? So yeah, I like that.
All right, now for me, I've already given you the Jets plus 3 opening day. That'll be on my card for Week 1 NFL action. Plus 3 Jets at home versus the Steelers. All Bills 12.5 is plus 125. And I'm going to go a little Jets. I'm going to go over 6.5 here, plus 120. Again, I see 7 games at 1.5. We split them. We got it. We split those out, and if we don't, and it goes even better, it will be, well, I'm not going to ladder that, so I'm not even going to talk about that. We'll go just a 6.5. Let's play it safe here. This is a 5-win team here we're talking about. So give me the 6.5 plus 120. The Bills plus 125. They're on that number. Jets week 1. We got your props. We got your Super Bowl prediction. Bills and Niners. Overs, totals over total for touchdowns here for Waddle. We got everything. So if you didn't catch it on the scroll, rewatch it. You can rewatch it. It's perfectly it's allowed. Put the notification bell on. Subscribe to the YouTube channels. Winner Circle. Comment section. Your thoughts on the AFC East. Our best bets in NFL at gamblersworld.net. Gentlemen, happy football season. And everybody's pumped.
Absolutely.
Good seeing you guys. Take care.